Weather is top of mind for farmers this summer as focus shifts from planting progress to crop conditions. We now want to head to Iowa for an update on that. And Dennis Reyman with the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers joins us with the latest from his region, and we sure do appreciate that, Dennis. So Iowa shows a lot of dryness on the drought monitor. So how are crops looking?
Well, we certainly are dry. Our entire trade territory is either abnormally dry or worse as you get to the west and northwest into South Dakota and Nebraska. So I can attest to that it is dry. We need rain. The rivers are, I guess I checked one river level this morning was about 80% of its normal flow, but crops are hanging in there. They look good. I think the corn would be mostly at knee high or maybe a slightly taller. Soybeans nicely out of the ground for the most part, probably 3 to 6 inches tall would be common, and doing okay. Certainly, also need a shot of water on that second cutting of hay so it can get up and get going.
Well, we know prices have fallen way off their highs of mid-May. So how much crop do you think is left to be sold now?
Well, I have noticed grain trucks rolling pretty well after the rallies that have occurred. Mid-May being the last one, and earlier this year too. So there was, I think, pretty good flow of grain from moving off farm into the end users, the ethanol plants, feed mills, and the elevators. And so I think, certainly there's going to be a lot of crop left in the bin, but I don't think it's going to be a glut. I do think it's been moving along in pretty good shape.
That's good news. So switching to the land market, we've talked before about selling season starting in June and July. How much land sale activity do you anticipate at this time?
Yeah, what we've seen so far in the second quarter, April, May, and June, has been a very average volume of land, right on average of the last 2 years and basically right on the average of the last 10 years. So we see probably a normal movement of land as we move into the rest of the summer, the third quarter. We don't see, it's a little early to see anything on the books yet for fourth quarter, but usually starting June, July, you see the volume start to pick up, and that appears that'll be the case again this year, and certainly well over half the land transactions. About 2/3 of the land transactions tend to occur in the second half of the year. So that'll probably be the case again this year.
Yeah, lots more to come. So any notable changes in any land types so far in 2026?
What I've seen so far is a lot more as we do appraisal work and we search for comparable sales, and a lot of that can be gathered from our auction results database, but we also have to search courthouse records for those that may have occurred transacted privately, and we find a lot more private transactions that have occurred. And of course, we don't use family transactions or anything that would be not at arm's length, but a lot more private sale activity has occurred, I think, so far in 2026.
All right. Well, great insight as always. We appreciate that. Dennis Reyman with the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers. Appreciate you being with us.